Good morning, everybody. It's still Kelly Shushock here, the reluctant YouTuber, but ever grateful pastor here at Edges. Good morning. It's great to see all of you today. So while we wait for folks to get on and just say hello to each other this morning, a few of you have wondered appropriately, why the extra green chair? The answer is because it was here already and we never planned for my office to be a live stream studio. But turns out it was pretty convenient because this week, as you can see, I invited a friend. Some of you may recognize him from my front porch where he's been all week if you've been out and about counting bears on the bear hunt. So I thought today was a good time to tell you a little bit about my furry friend. First of all, his name is Roby. Now that's short for Robitussin. And Robitussin is the name of a cough medicine that I used to suffer through regularly as a kid with asthma. So when I was 15, I had just started to date this boy when our romance got interrupted because I was hospitalized with a bad case of pneumonia, which was always accompanied by a terrible cough. And after what seemed a long and dark time alone in a hospital bed, one day my boyfriend, Frank, who had the same name as my husband, because he is, Frank was finally allowed to visit. And when he came into my hospital room that day, 35 years ago, he brought this bear, Roby, the bear to give you a big smile and a whole lot of comfort when you've got a cough that feels like it won't ever go away. So now I'm going to let you just think about the irony in that while I go and take Roby outside, because actually he's not an inside bear. He's just barely tolerating this moment. I'll see you in a second. All right. Did everybody get some coffee? Are you ready to go? All right, friends, it's been another week and it's still a weird time out there, isn't it? So weird, in fact, that it's possible you didn't even remember that this is Holy Week. It's the week that every year leads us through the darkness and then dumps us out in front of the biggest promise that there is. The promise that life lasts the longest. And that, friends, is the whole punchline of Easter. Well, this year it seems as important as ever that we walk this dark road together. Many of us, whether we've thought of it in this way or not, many of us are white-knuckle clinging to Easter's claim that we too will get dumped out of this dark pandemic tube in front of the biggest truth that there is, that life lasts longer, that hope is ahead. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we need Easter. Well, I want to start by telling you a few practical things we'll be doing during the next 7 days to make the journey to Easter together. And I really hope you'll come along for all of them. First, many of you have been joining us on Wednesdays each week for our midweek Sabbath. It's been a great time of worship. Well, this week, in lieu of that worship, I want to invite you to join us instead on Holy Thursday at 7. First, I know that many of you have been joining us on Wednesdays for our midweek Sabbath. Well, this year, in lieu of that worship on Wednesday, I want to invite you to join us instead on Holy Thursday at 7 p.m. Here at Edges, we've often shared a meal together on Holy Thursday, and that's because the art of tabling, the art of slowing down enough for the sacred nourishment that comes with good food and good friends. Well, that was something Jesus was always about. And Holy Thursday always remembers a conversation about what matters most that Jesus shared with his friends at their last meal together on earth. Well, I believe we can still make that kind of sacred space even this year, friends. So if you'll opt in with us, here's what you'll do. On Thursday, you'll just gather your favorite comfort food and sit around your own table or maybe even on your couch and join us on the live stream at 7 p.m. where we'll have a common meal together and we'll worship and we'll have some meaningful conversation about what matters most. And then Friday night, same time, 7 p.m., we're going to come together again. And on this day, it'll be to remember and to reflect on the darkness that Jesus endured because, well, love. So join us back on the live stream on Friday as we walk through the scriptures that tell us the story of Jesus's final moments on earth. And after all of that, next Sunday is Easter. And Easter is the day that dares us to believe that even from the inside of darkness, there are always signs of life. So here's what you can do to help us get ready. We're calling it Edge's Signs of Life. First, just look around you this week. Where do you see signs of life? Next, wherever you see those signs, just snap a couple of quick pics. It could be a flower. It could be a screenshot of your family and those little Brady Bunch Zoom boxes that we're all having. It could be a photo from a walk you take that shows hope. It can be anything that you think is a sign of life. Now, of course, we also want photos of you. So you can get dressed up in your Easter clothes if you have some. Or you could just snap a picture of yourself in your favorite Corona clothes. Because we are all signs of life. And so there's a lot of comfort right now in just seeing pictures of each other, even online. So please do that. But also feel free to notice other signs of life among you. I want to share two with you that I snapped just this week. The first one you'll see, it's some sidewalk chalk that's in front of our house that Ivy made. And it reminds us just to hold on to what is good. It literally was a sign of life that I saw. The second is a more usual picture in our house. I was cooking a tortilla and I realized as usual that I was burning it. So I ran over to the stove to flip it again. Normally I would have walked right past this, but this week, look what I saw. Do you see it? Do you see the smiley face right there on that tortilla? Now, I'm not one who thinks that smile was necessarily a sign from God, but the fact that I noticed something in the ordinary, I think that's a gift. A sign of life in a moment that this season has helped to create for me. So after you've snapped your own pictures this week, if you'll just either post them to social media with the hashtag Edges Signs of Life, or you can email them to our email address, info@bumcedges.com. And then if you'll join the live stream on Easter Sunday, we're going to celebrate with an Edges Signs of Life slideshow. And it's going to be cool. But you can't participate if you don't have your stuff to us by Friday. So when's it due, everybody? I'm going to wait till somebody puts it in the live stream. When's it due? When are your pictures for Edges Signs of Life due? Friday. You did it. That's the ticket, everybody. Have your stuff in by Friday because Signs of Life depend on all of us right now. So we're going to do it together. All right, so that's Easter week for us. I have 3 more quick things to throw your way, but let's all just catch our breath real quick. Anybody need to go grab some more coffee? I drink tea, by the way, not coffee, so drink whatever you want. No pressure. All right. 3 more quick things. As you've probably heard, things are really ramping up for all of the medical personnel that are in our midst. And I just want to say that you have been champions at nourishing them through our ER Eats program. And I believe that the real love of Jesus is just showing up in that food, a sign of life, every time we do it. But we do need a few more hands this week, so if you're able, you can go even right now to bumcedges.com/EREats and sign up to help out this week. And while you're doing that, I just wanted to read you a couple of texts that I got from our friends who are inside the local ER about how things are going there. This first one is from Devin. She says, ER Eats is so nourishing. The cards and the words of affirmation, they're literally hung all over our break room. It's so beautiful, and it keeps us moving forward. And then Jennifer said, oh, please communicate that one of the best things holding us up is the community outpouring that we witness every day. Your food, snacks, drinks, all the masks that are coming in, the inventions people are making, especially the prayers, all of it matter. So thanks, you guys. That's it. Just thanks, and keep at it, and sign up this week so that we can keep doing it. Next, we've had a lot of interest in online home groups. We've had so much interest that we're going to start 3 new online groups this week. I think we've had the interest because most of us just get it, that this isn't a season that anyone should try to do alone. And so virtual home groups are places where people can process life and faith, especially right now, with a consistent group of folks. If that interests you, I'll say it even more directly. If it's something that you know you need, now is the time to say yes. So you can always contact us through the website or send us an email at info@bumcedges.com. We'll help get you connected to something that you're going to need to help you get through. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, we introduced you to Brad and Mandy, the new pastors that are going to be joining our church in June. We're very excited about that. And to begin helping you get to know them, we just added some fun information about both of them on the Pastoral Transition blog on our website. So that's something else that you might want to check out this week. You can just go to our website and scroll down, or go to bumcedges.com/transition, and you'll find some fun facts about both of those folks there. All right. Now, could we just take a few deep breaths together and just remember that God is here right now. I'd like to invite us to just breathe for a moment in silence together. And then I'd like to offer a prayer from our friend Nadia Bowles-Weber. Actually, she doesn't know she's our friend, but I know she's our friend, so I think that counts. All right, friends, take a few breaths. And I'm going to look up the prayer and then pray. Dear God, some of us right now are exhausted by a constant stream of bad news. Some of us are exhausted from the effort of trying not to freak out. Some of us are exhausted by not knowing how we will pay our rent. Some of us are exhausted from the effort of trying to entertain and educate and feed and love children who are stuck at home. Some of us are exhausted by the 13-hour shifts in a hospital we no longer recognize, working a job we are afraid could kill us. Some of us showed up to this pandemic with pre-existing physical health and mental health conditions that were already exhausting. Some of us are exhausted by loneliness. Some of us are exhausted by waiting so long for a new season of succession. And some of us are exhausted by the effort of trying to make this all okay for everyone else. Life is so strained and so tender right now. We know that not a single one of us is promised another day, God. So I guess we are asking for the strength for just the one we are in. Give us today our daily strength. Strength for today. And if you could spare it, bright hope for tomorrow. Amen. And then she writes, P.S. Hosanna in the highest. A good Palm Sunday prayer. Amen. Well, friends, today it feels to me a little like I need one of those news tickers that says, we interrupt this regularly scheduled pandemic program for Holy Week. It's a week that the world still remembers even now, because this was the week 2,000 years ago where something happened that changed the world forever. A leader, teacher, friend to many named Jesus had shown up on the scene. And everything he did and taught suggested that people needed to reevaluate and to reorient their loyalties and their loves. Many folks bought it. They became fans and even followers, excited to reevaluate, excited to reorient. And some folks didn't buy it. They felt threatened and angry about having to shift their loyalties and their loves. Well, because of all this tension, the world was truly reaching a breaking point. Jesus was asking both camps to see that the power structure to which their hearts and their habits were attached was flawed. Now that was a huge and inflammatory claim. But to this point, Jesus had been mostly measured and conventional in his approach. He was polite. Which may be why nobody suspected just how dark and just how violent the breaking point would become from the vantage point of this day, Palm Sunday. What I mean is that if you'd asked anybody how they were on Palm Sunday, the most common answer would have been, fine, just fine. How are you? Well, you can read those texts for yourself either today or sometime in the next couple of days as we walk through this week. These are the texts from before things heat up. You can find memories of Palm Sunday in all 4 Gospels, and those references will be posted in the chat. I really invite you to read from all 4 of the Gospels. You'll learn different things in each. Well, by all these accounts, the accounts in the Gospels, there was a makeshift, kind of spontaneous community rally. It was in the form of an old-fashioned parade, actually. Jesus came riding into town on a substandard vehicle. And folks from both sides of the line lined up on the streets, fans and foes. Both parties just waiting for him to say or do the next thing that would justify what they had already decided. You see, they were just like us. And so when Jesus went straight through downtown and into the church, and there told them with less polite vibrato that they were not going to survive unless they would reevaluate their loyalties and their loves. And then he just turned around and quietly left. Most people weren't too amped. Mostly they just kind of shrugged their shoulders and wondered what the headlines would say tomorrow. You see, they had the luxury of going on about their business because a worldwide crisis hadn't hit for them yet. Let me say this again. On their Palm Sunday 2,000 years ago, they had the luxury of going on about their business because a worldwide crisis hadn't hit for them yet. And until about a month ago, we had that same luxury. But now, this year, on our Palm Sunday, we are all here in the middle of a worldwide pandemic where none of us, literally none of us, is able to just go on about our business. Maybe now we will finally let ourselves be confronted with the most important question there is. The question Jesus came then and now to ask and to answer. Where have we placed our love? I know that seems like too big of a question for a Sunday live stream. But actually, it is the question I think we're all answering every day right now. Let me try to rephrase it in a better bite size for us to discuss on the chat. Here's a similar question. What do you miss most right now? Actually, try it this way. Why don't you just fill in this blank? We'll have the chat on the live stream. Here we go. I really miss blank. Go ahead, take your time. What are you really missing? I see family and Target and hugs, play dates, friends, face-to-face, human interaction, school, my parents, proximity, friends, community get-togethers, my mom, the ease of face-to-face interaction. I miss laughing with coworkers. I miss travel. I miss bonfires and coffee dates, meals with friends, church community, hugs. I miss love felt around others. I miss days filled with less caution. I miss being able to say goodbye to my friends before we move. I miss stability. I miss birthday parties, seeing my baby nephew, dinners with friends, going to Edges, Keep it up. What do you really miss? I miss certainty. I miss the security of knowing what the future will hold. I miss my kids going to school. I miss movies. I miss being able to plan. I miss the pool and grandkids and people and the lake. I miss not doing everything on a screen. I miss a location of stability. I miss planning for the future. I miss the lasts of senior year. I miss a campus full of students and recovery meetings. I miss being needed. So many little things and so many big things, all of them actually both big and small. All these things that you're writing about right now, that you're thinking about right now, they're all symbolic. They're all emblematic. They're all arrows that point to some loyalties that we have lodged. A little reflection on these things. There are enough good follow-up questions to take you through a whole Holy Week. You can probably think of millions of good reflection questions you should ask around this list. Here are a few. Will the stuff you've lost return? Should it return? Does it have staying power, or does it have the shelf life of a banana? Does God inhabit the stuff on this list? Is it worth anything? Will your list get you through? Is it worth returning to? Do the things on your list really have the power that you've given them? Should they? Are the things on your list worth your life, whether you crave them or not? Where do your loyalties lie? Do they need recalibrating? Is now a good time for that? Now let me shift the question a bit. Why don't you try this question out in the chat? No matter how bad it gets, I still have blank. I'll say it one more time before you start chatting. No matter how bad it gets, I still have blank. Go ahead, why don't you guys try that one out? I see a lot of hope and love and family. I still have people in my house who will love me. No matter how bad it gets, what do you still have? Music, blessings, nature, time, a roof over my head, springtime, sunshine, opportunity, Jesus, love. assurance that tomorrow will come and we will be one day further from yesterday. Life, gratitude, creativity, the hope and love of my family, my faith. A chance to have grace for myself. I still have my kids' laughter. Yeah. I still have small blessings. Guys, questions worth your whole Holy Week, these two and others. Worth lots of reflection as we go from here into this week. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's nothing like a worldwide crisis to finally make you consider what will save you. And are you tethered to it? Or are you tethered to a bunch of stuff that needs your reevaluation? You see, sometimes in life, things reach a breaking point. Sometimes in life, a parade becomes a pandemic. And then, because, well, God, there happens to be a Holy Week to help us remember where we have placed our love. So let this week be. Amen. We'll see you on Thursday, and then on Friday, and then in your pictures in between, until we make it to Sunday together. And now, friends, may the God who seeks you find you where you fall. May the God who loves you take delight in your living. And may the God who send you send you out now, even now, with joy. For in your gladness and in your grieving, in your brokenness and in the world's healing, in your faithfulness and in your leaving, the God who made you and redeemed you is the God who keeps all of us still. Amen.